Yeah, Martin, if you are having a problem, the last time you were here, and it was showing this circular full. There's a database that is inside MySQL. So you can just click this so that it welcomes you to maybe MySQL connections, local instance, and things like that. You can create other instances. But so these local instances are what is holding your data, right? Yeah, so it's more or less like a store. So if you get to this, there's a store. If you go to this, there's a store. So you click on maybe, so for example, for me, I have maybe databases created inside here and also created maybe in local instance. So I can just maybe click on my local instance, and then it's going to ask me for a password. So this is my SQL Workbench, not the CMD. So the only problem is that if you don't remember the password, then you are also in for a rude shock, because it will ask you to create or maybe it will ask you to always remember that the password. And again, you can resize and size this thing so that it gives you space. Maybe if I put it here, then there's no space for me to do the writing. Yeah. So for maybe those who are asking how to create a database, yeah, there are various formulas that you can use, and create database is is the command that you write for creating databases. And again, if you write it in capital or so Peter Kanyoyi says mine doesn't require a password. Okay, yeah. I mean, so for me, I did an encryption so that I have a password there. So I try to remember it. So I always prefer that SQL statements are written in, or maybe those SQL commands are written in capital letters. So for example, you can as well write create database in small letters. It is possible. You can also write this create database. Somebody can also decide to write create, or even let me say create data. Is SQL really case sensitive? No. With these SQL commands, it is not case sensitive. Yeah. So it's for you to decide. But for me, like even if we get to a point where we'll be writing select statement or even from, yeah, Eric, your hand is up. Tell
Yes,
us.
mine is not bringing this stuff for management.
Which one for management?
Yeah, on the left.
On the left, this one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you can click here, schemas, administration.
Oh, okay.
Yours is like this, eh? Yeah, so if you click here, administration, this is what you will be seeing. But you can just click schemas so that you see the schemas that you have created. Yeah.
Not
So,
yet.
sorry?
Not yet. Not yet.
You're not able to see schemas or administration,
Those administrations, yes.
but schemas,
Even there.
check if it is hidden and maybe resize. You can check out if this is hidden. Are you able to see maybe these functionalities up here? File, edit, view, query, database.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, if you're able to see them, then I think everything is good. You can check even easy info, AMA session, if there's something that is hidden there. But yeah, what I'm saying is for you to create a database, you can go this way, create a new schema, right? So you can call it a schema or you can call it a database. So for example here, if you see this SYS, or if you see this one called a staff, right? This is a staff. A staff is now a database, and a database has tables. So a database is just a series of interconnected tables. James was mentioning to you yesterday about relational databases. Relational databases means this table is related to the other. think of it this way. I have employee ID in one table. I'll also find maybe employee ID in another table. So that means that there is a relation that is between the two, right? Because employee ID inapatikana hapa, employee ID inapatikana hapa. Or look at it in terms of maybe how you are related to your extended family, right? Yeah, you have maybe your father and then you have your mother. Maybe ask yourself how you are related to your cousins. There's something that is joining you and maybe your cousin. Is maybe your auntie is now the link, or maybe it's your uncle is the link, right? I mean, you can create that tree, that family tree, and find the relationship between you and maybe even your great great grandparent. You'll find a relationship of how you people are linking together. Um, yeah. So for you to create a database, just write the create database or go the schema way, or you can just go here and create a new schema. Yeah. Yeah. These other ones are maybe if you want to open a SQL script file that you had previously written. Yeah. If you want to create a new SQL tab for executing Nini, you just click this. You can see here I've created some SQL 5, SQL 6. Yeah. If you want to open maybe a SQL script, you can click there and see if I don't know whether I have. Yeah. So for example, you can see I have a certain script here called Joel Omwando. So I can click it and open it and see what is here. By the way, we can even use this one. Yeah, I can see overview of SQL here. Type of SQL commands. There are data definition languages. For example, you want to create something. You can see right here we wanted to create maybe a database. We ended it. Yeah. So maybe here we want to create database. And I see you are creating a database called uh, I don't know, employees. Or maybe let's call it data mines. Data mines. And for you, you have to end your your database or maybe your SQL command or queries with this semicolon. Yeah, you were told that yesterday, right? Mutai, are you aware of that?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So yeah, you need to end it. So there's somebody called. Create a database, then data mines, and then end it with that semicolon. If you don't, then your SQL command is not going to run. Right? It is not going to run. So after doing this, kuna this light, something that looks like a lightning to execute your command, right? So you can just maybe click there and execute. Yeah. So you can see here, create database. So we've made a mistake. Let me see if we've done it. Okay, so not a problem. Um, Now if you check here, you can see now data mines, right? You can see data mines has been created inside here. Anybody who is able to do that, I believe you are able to create a database. Or you can go the other way, maybe go to this, create a new schema in the connected server. So if you click there, you can see new schema. So what is the name of your new schema? So here you just come and say maybe data mines. But I believe it's not going to create because we have a uh, so this one. So you can click here apply, but then the server is configured with lowercase table and which only allows. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so if we have it as data mine, so it has been configured that the name starts with small letters. So that is what is happening here. So selected name conflicts with the existing schema data mines. So okay, so you can go back and so maybe if I add here S, another S and apply, of course that one it will be different. You can see this is the command which we just wrote that at the time. So you can use create database or you can use create schema. So either way, all of them are just click apply, right? You can see here now we have you can see here we have a new database called schema called data mines. Okay, but yeah. Now maybe we've created that data mines and maybe you don't want it. Now you can say drop data mines. Let me see if it is working or it won't. So this is data mines. So error can't create database data mines. What is it saying? And they wanted to drop a database. Oh, this one is used for dropping a table. Let me confirm it if it is going to work. Control enter. So you have an error. I don't know where that error is coming from. Data mines. Yeah, but let me see it as we progress. But you can also you can also drop you can drop a database, and I believe this is how it should be written. Drop using the drop command for dropping a database. So maybe once you've created a database, then inside there you can now create tables. Yeah, there's this that you pulled here. Don't save. Yeah, so for example, drop, that is part of data definition language. So you can create a database, you can use create database, or you can use create schema. All right. So control enter. By the shortcuts for running these things is just control enter. For those who may be asking themselves for shortcuts. So semicolon is a statement terminator. You can see why I was saying we need to use it. So semicolon is a statement terminator, and then maybe control plus enter or control plus shift plus enter is the shortcut for running SQL commands. For those who have been using R also, control plus enter is also the shortcut for running commands in programming language R. Yeah, there's something here that schema is equaling to a database, and I think maybe I mentioned that. So if you want to use schema, that is okay. Create schema. If you want to use create database, that is also okay. But just know that SQL is not case sensitive. Where I am seeing your hand is up.
Yeah, I wanted to inquire
Yeah.
about the database you were creating. You created the database data mines with a single S, and then you were dropping with a double S. Couldn't that be the problem why it wasn't coming out?
No, there are different databases that we've created there, and you can see I've created data mines and also I've created data mines, right? It should be
Oh,
it should be dropping. Okay, let me see. This is drop database, data mines. Should it run? This one should be able to run. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I was missing this drop database. Yeah, but because drop is the functionality used to alter. You can drop a table, you can drop a database, you can drop. Yeah, it's basically a database. But just know that um, when you drop a database, it is completely gone. You cannot retrieve. Hapa hakuna mambo na control Z, right? Yeah, so the only thing I was missing here was to add in the functionality for database. Yeah, so if you want to drop a table, you also specify drop table, right? Yeah. So anybody having a challenge with any of that before you go to how to create a table? Any question? we are going to creating a table.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I've created the database data mines.
Yes.
However, it's not showing itself in the schemas, so I don't know where it has gone.
Come here and refresh this one. Are you seeing this part?
Yeah.
Can you refresh?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So that is how to create a database. Anybody having another question? Yeah. So maybe we go to something around now creating a table. And creating tables, let me just again use this thing and tell you some other information. There are different types of there are different data types. Maybe somebody can shout out some of the data types that they know, and we write them down here, and we see what we did not talk about them in Excel. Any data type that you know, Vince. I'm seeing Peter Kanyo is saying integer and also saying float.
Cha.
Yes, char or character. Uh-huh. Let me call on somebody like Job. Any data type that you know? Job Odhiambo. There's varchar, variable character. And Somutai, you're saying n varchar. I know of varchar. Varchar. Somebody may. There's numeric. Yeah, though there are some data types that are just versions of numeric. If you there's float, there's boolean data type. Mgazo. What is a boolean data type? An. An, kindly unmute. An is not a. Casey, what is a boolean data type? Some people say boolean, some say boolean.
Presents a binary value of either true or false.
Yeah, either true.
Basically, true or false.
Yeah, true or false data type. Let me see if there is any other one we have not mentioned. So yeah, Anne Mgazo, that's true. Alice Kalunde, any data type that we have not mentioned?
I had lost my network at some point, so I'm just hanging in there. I'm yet to get to,
No, this is just a simple one. Like how many? You just mention any data type that you know.
Oh gosh, I can't think of any at the moment. I'm still catching up.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean there are so many that we've mentioned. Unless there's any other one that we are missing, but they should be just these ones. Yeah, of course, Boolean. There are others like, oh, of course, text. There's text data, and there are other things like you'll find other versions, maybe like tiny something around. I don't know. It's called tiny something, but it's a version of text data. But these are the major ones: integer, float, varchar, numeric, and you'll find yourself using mostly hizi zenye ziko hapa. Okay, so suppose maybe you want to create a database, or maybe you want to create a table in now in this data mines. What are some of the information that we can have in that table? So think of it that you want to create a table called students. What are some of the information that we can have? I want us to write them down, and then we start processing them. What are some of the information that we can have for a database for a table that we want to create called students?
Name.
So we may want to create name. So student ID.
Email address.
Email. I'm seeing somebody saying phone number. Location, registration number.
Registration number.
Any other? And again, so we also don't make them too much. Okay, gender. Somebody else is saying gender. Yeah, them, they. Gender. Yeah, so we can have such information. We can also have saying local location, address, registration number, course, phone number. Yeah, let's even say course. Yeah. So you first have to ask yourself which kind of information, or maybe which kind of text, or which kind of data is name. Name is which kind of data type? Eh? Which kind of data type is name? From the list that we have here. And then you ask yourself this one. So people are saying text, string. Yeah, in a broader sense, it is a string kind of data. We have two major branches. It's either string data or numeric data, then and including and also date. But then there are other versions that will come that are just, or maybe other types that will come that are just versions of either numeric or string, right? So for example, name is a string kind of data. But when we go to maybe these data types, we are going to give it a char, a character. If you go to something like email, somebody might have email containing their name, and also containing text, and also containing numbers. All right, and there you're going to give it a varchar because it's a combination of two things. This one is an integer, right? Is it integer? Yeah, int. You're going to give it an integer. Yeah, I believe so. And then the registration number. Registration number can also contain letters and numbers. So we are also going to give it something like a varchar. This one is just a character. Course can also not have maybe. So this one is also going to be a character. Student ID. So it depends. Is it student registration number or ID? So registration number and student ID. I don't know, this one should be the national ID, but for national ID in Kenya, that is just numbers purely, and you're going to give it an int. So maybe somebody asks you, what is a character data type, or what is a varchar data type? Now this is speaking the language of SQL. Yeah. So maybe, for example, if you have a varchar, this is maybe just a variable. Just as I had mentioned, it is going to contain maybe letters. You have their numbers again, and you can even have special characters, right? So, for example, think about your email password. Yeah, somebody writes maybe let me say Anne 2023 at $ again. So $ and that at are special characters, and then letters and maybe numbers. So you'll find them. Varchar is this way. So an email can also be that way. It contains letters and numbers, right? But if you come to maybe char, uh-huh. There's a difference between char and varchar. Char is always of a fixed length. Varchar is of it's dynamic, right? So it's in terms of length between char and varchar. Varchar is not fixed in terms of length, but character is more fixed in terms of the length. I'm trying to think if char also contains letters or numbers. Yeah, but I'll get to see that. Yeah, so tentatively you can think of them this way. And then maybe something like an integer. Integer, I think, is just numbers, and that is something that we might be knowing. So before you create your table, you first have to think of these things. Which data type is something like name going to be, right? And again, while creating a database, think of your primary key. You know what a primary key? This is the variable that is it the variable? Yeah, the variable that uniquely identifies a table. Yeah, we mentioned something like when we were doing data cleaning in Excel, and we looked at the serial number for those president. Yeah, we were having 1, 2, 3, and it was like the serial number, so that we cannot have two serial numbers for different presidents. So it uniquely identifies. When you come to maybe something like for students, a student ID uniquely identifies somebody. It's either the student ID or the registration number. Yeah, in this case. So think of what is going to be your primary key. And in most cases, the primary key, of course, it can be found anywhere within the table, but I always prefer that the primary key is the one to start. Yeah, so that the primary key starts when when you're doing when you're creating your table. Yeah, yeah. Let me just copy this and we use it very fast. We've taken a while. Another thing, when creating a table, you first have to know in which database am I going to create this thing, right? In which database am I creating this table? So you can see here, there is none that is bold. So for example, if I double tap Bounty Analytica, you can see that it is bold. That means I am going to create my table within this database. So if you want to create it maybe in data mines, kuja to data mines and double click so that ikiwa gray, then that is the database that is being used. If I click upper, then it means I'm going to be creating it in SYS, SYS, I think maybe system something. Instead of user double tap and things like that, just write use data mines. So let me try to write it in capital so that you see use data mines. So can't create database. Why is this create database continually coming here? Yeah, you see data mines is okay. So it first needs me to highlight. I don't know what is happening. But the moment I wrote use data mines, you can see it changed from SYS to data mines. So if maybe I don't want to use data mines, and I told you that SQL is not case sensitive. So suppose maybe I want to use staff, STA, F. Use staff. You can see staff is now bold enough. Okay. Yes, but in this case, you want to use data mines. So you just run it. Okay. Control Enter is working. I don't know why this one is not working. Yeah. So here it is. So when you want to create a database, when you want to create a table, start with this, create table. Yeah. You can also use these things that are here. Maybe for example, this one, create a new table in the active schema in the connected server. If you click that, itakuletea table hapa. But this one is always like more or less a long process for me. So you just give it the table name, and then so maybe students, default collection, wherever, chars, wherever, and then you can see schema, it's in data mines, and then apply. Yeah, you can go to foreign keys and set which one is your foreign key name, what is your index name. Yeah, but this one can be a little bit confusing. I mean, it's a shortcut for some people, but for me, it's not a shortcut for me. Yeah, table password. If you want a table password, do you want auto increment? We'll talk about auto increment someday. Object students, don't save. Yeah, yeah. So and again, you can see here there is query one. You can save it, save the script to a file. So if you click on save, you may find where you want to save them. So create a table and let's call it students. Yeah, so this one is crying that we have left it down here. Let me just pull it so that we do an edit on it. So create table and say students. Students. Yeah. So here is where you're going to define some other things. So for example, ID. We're thinking about ID. And then ID is now an integer. So I don't know, you can even write it student ID or just write it ID and then integer. And then you can say that it is our primary key. So if we write ID and then write int, then it means that you are defining the data type. What is the data type of ID? It is integer, right? You can also specify that this one is my primary key. Yeah. You can specify that it is the primary key of this table. Then we come to name. Name, we are giving it a varchar. It's a varchar because the name of somebody cannot be of fixed length. If you have a fixed length, it means think of it like maybe phone number. Phone number, you know that the phone number of somebody, if it is not including +254, then it needs to be 10. So if I write phone number and then maybe write int, think of it maybe if it was not an integer, and then it's a character type. So int, sorry, not int, phone number char in bracket 10. In bracket 10, then it means that you should not exceed 10 characters while writing this, doing an entry in this column, right? But if you write it as varchar and maybe give it something like 30, somebody's name can be very long. That is why we are allowing it to just roam around. The rest of the things that are not filled, yeah, they are not going to be filled by white spaces. But for character, if you don't reach maybe the maximum length, if you don't write 10 numbers for your phone number and maybe you write 8, the other 2 that is remaining, it is going to be filled by white spaces. Those white spaces are going to be considered as characters. But if you write it as varchar and write 30, if the characters in your name does not reach 30, then the rest of the spaces that are remaining, we are not going to fill it with white spaces, right? Yeah. So if you have maybe name varchar and give it 30, you are giving it 30 because somebody's name can maybe be 20 characters. There's a Rwandan whose name is just one name. So for example, my Boniface, for him is like 23 characters for the just one name, right? Yeah. So we are looking at maybe integer for the ID, and then that is our primary key. Then maybe the name of that student now, varchar, and give it 30. Maybe we do not want a birth date. I don't know what we wrote there. Let me also remove this one because we don't want it. Yeah, we wanted maybe name, student ID, maybe that one you have taken care of. Think of email, and we write here email. So instead of birth date, yeah, we can even have email again. Yeah, so we have email is here, varchar 40. So we are giving it 40 because somebody's email can also be very long. And we are giving it varchar and not char, not a character, but it's a varchar type, data type. Yeah. So it because it is so what this var means is it is variable character. Variable means something is changing, right? Or maybe it does not have a fixed length. But for char, it has a fixed length. And if that length is not met, the remaining spaces are filled by white spaces, which are considered to be characters. So even if you write 07 and maybe write 8, if we are going to do a count and the data type was character, we are going to say that you have written 10 things, right? Because white spaces have been added there. But for variable character, it will not happen that way. Birth date varchar, maybe something else we might be adding here is maybe course. Yeah, what is your gender? Gender and course. Maybe let's write gender and course. So we are here. Gender. Yeah, so here, Pierre, you also have to think of how you're writing these things, by the way. So gender, we give it a character of gender is either male or female. So we give it, or even MF. Yeah, so that it has one, right? MF. So somebody either writes MF. That is if we are really fixed. But if we want to include the them, they part, that is a different story. Yeah, we can also add the course that somebody is taking. So comma, course. So what is the course that somebody is taking? So course, the name of a course can really be long unless we decide to go by the initials. So maybe let us just give it 20. So if you're satisfied that this is the information that you want, then you include the statement terminator comma and click on Control Enter, and you can see here down here that create table students has been created. So if you go to data mines and go to tables, let's refresh. Yeah, you can see students. So if you click on this, you can see students here. Yeah, ID, name, maybe you can go back and change this thing. Email naona imeanza vibaya. You just go back and write this as ikuwe vizuri. Name, email pia ianze in cap. Why is this thing writing for me create database? Yeah, so there's an error. Yeah, we should be writing update. We should be using a command called update instead of yeah. So I did not remember to tell you that. Maybe let me just do this and create it with capital. We'll talk about updating a table. Table students already exist. Let me copy this thing. Because it is not case sensitive. A student. Control Enter. So if I refresh here, you can see that I have students and I have student. So I can decide to drop table students. Yeah, so it has been dropped. So we remain with student, this one, which has clean maneno. Yeah. So you can even as well decide to write it back to students, create I mean, so that we have it there. Instead of having student, then now we drop this student. So we go back to where we are. So students. So we have the table called students. Yeah. I've done too much talking without taking care of those who are asking any question. Yeah, any question? Have you been able to create this? Let me see. Anybody meeting any challenge? Wema? Wema Nicole? Are you okay?
Yes. Yeah, I'm good.
Alice? Sharon? Sharon, your hand is up.
When I try to execute, it's not bringing for me the student part under the data mines table.
What is it bringing?
Nothing.
Why can't you refresh here?
I think I have it not.
You have not?
I've refreshed, but it's not yet.
What is the error?
Oh, I had forgotten that hiyo ako ka arrow ka table kuipress. Nimeona. Sawa.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Peter Kanyoi, uko sawa?
Yes.
Okay. I'm seeing somebody here. Brianna, are you okay? Brianna? Okay. Let me see. David? David Kapute?
I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the last person to check on maybe is Oscar here? Oscar Kambona? I'm not seeing Oscar. Okay. Mutai? So you can
Very okay.
okay. Yeah, so you can click here and check, and then you can see that now you have created. Let me click it again. So if you go to this table here, and you can see here mahali kuna some sort of a table, you click it, and then you can see we have ID, name, gender, birth date, email, course. Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing is now adding information into that table. Adding now information into the table. Yeah, even before that, I can tell you how to alter a table. Yeah, alter a table. That is part of data manipulation. So there's inserting, we can update. Yeah, so alter, we want to maybe add a certain column, and maybe we left a column let me see any column that we left. We left a column gender, registration number, maybe phone number. Yeah. Just confirm for me that phone number is going to be which. I'm going back to doing a wrong thing. Yeah. So you do alter. So alter table. So you specify the name of the table that you want to alter, right? We want to alter the students table, and then alter goes with add. So maybe you want to add a column like what is up with our we want to alter table and add maybe a student. We add a phone number. Can it work without the nini really? We need to have the underscore. So phone number is going to be which data type? Maybe let's say int. Yeah, int in bracket maybe 10, right? And then do that. So use alter table, then give the name of that table, which is we want to alter the students. What do we want to add? We want to add maybe we want to add a column called phone number. If you don't put that underscore, you're seeing there's an issue, right? So you have an underscore. It can be an underscore. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, underscore for phone number. And then now click on Control Enter. Integer width is deprecated and will be removed in future. Record 0 duplicates, whatever. Let's see it again now. Now you can see now we have phone number, right? Phone number has been added. Are you able to add that? Thumbs up. Thumbs up if you're able to add that. Vince Mairori is able to do that. Anybody else? Yeah, and Gaza. You are also able to, yeah, Wema and I believe the others. Yeah, so that is adding and then dropping in the tables that you've created. Something else that you can do now, maybe insert. Now we go to inserting. Yeah, inserting now information into our table. There's another function called update, or let's first add information, and then we'll talk about updating. Yeah. So next, maybe you want to go to inserting information into a database. So insert into. So when you want to insert maybe not really a database but a table. Insert. So what I've done is commenting. You can comment in Excel using the hashtag inserting information into a table. This one maybe you can give it a name, altering a table. Yeah, this one you can add it something, maybe dropping a table, things like that. Yeah. So you need to write insert into, right? You need to insert into. So you can write insert into. What is our table name? What is our table name? Yes? What is our table name? Hiya. Somebody is not speaking. What is our table name, Mr. Alan? Alan Mukwana. What is our table name? Oh, that is Alan Soita. Our table name is students, right? So students. So we want to insert into students, right? So you give the table name, and then now maybe answer that. What is it? Yeah, open the bracket. Now we want to insert into number one. Go back and understand your columns. So we have column number one inaitwa ID. comma, column number 2 ni name, comma, column number 3 ni gender. I believe this is, if I'm not rusty in what I know about inserting, that is birth date. How is birth date? So birth date is a small, and then birth date, then there's email, it's then course, and then there is comma phone number. Don't forget that we added phone number using alter. Yeah, so you list down your columns, right? Instead of listing them that way, you can just do this. You can just list them down this way. This way. Insert into blah blah. So where is so it's incomplete. And then you come here and write values, right? So what are our values? So values. So the first one was ID. Should we be using double quotes in this case? But yeah, let me see if you're supposed to use them. So we want to add the first value is ID. Maybe student ID hapa ni ama the national ID is it's always an 8 characters, right? So maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 3, 6, 4. Yeah. So that is the first one. So this one goes into the ID, and then name. Name, we come back and again add the name, maybe called. Let me see somebody from this. Somebody is called Sharon Nyamwea. Sharon Nyamwea takes care of the name part. Then we go to this one, gender. Because gender we had it as one character, so we'll say maybe F, right? And then we go to maybe birth date. What is the birth date of Nyamwea? Nyamwea, which one should we give you, or we just choose for ourselves?
Choose for yourself.
Okay. So maybe even 2002, and then I'm just wondering if this is the correct birth date. So 202 maybe December, and then date 06. I'll confirm if that is the correct birth date. Another one should be, that is birth date, maybe email, Nyamwea at 2023 at gmail.com. Nyamwea 2023 at gmail.com. Oh, somebody's microphone is on. Oh, is it you, Nyamwea? At gmail.com. So that takes care of the email part. Then we go to course. Maybe you did what? Engineering. And then now we go to phone number 07 maybe 26, and that way, and we close that bracket. I believe this is what you're supposed to write, and check on the bracket. So this one is supposed to be, and then another one should be this, and then comma. So insert into students, ID, birth date, values. Then we close this other bracket here. Are we having any other bracket? No. And then you can terminate the statement. Yeah, it's okay. Let's try to control enter. Delimiter in position 4, yeah, is deprecated. Prefer the standard. So in that time, but did it create? It was not able to. Yeah, it has created. It has entered the information. You can see. So I think the only warning that they are bringing out is that this delimiter that we are having for date here. Yeah, you can check how date is supposed to be written there, whether it should be having that, the arrangement should be in date, month, year, right? There are different formats for writing date, but if they're saying here, insert into one warning delimiter in position 4 in date time at row 1 is the cutted. Let me see. Yeah, it may, I don't know, be changed in the future. Yeah, you can just check that. So that is for you to insert the first person. Yeah. Now you may want to insert multiple people. Yeah. Insert into, and then you want to insert multiple people. Yeah. So that is the big task ahead that you can do. But now this is the first information that you can insert. The first information that we're inserting. But again, you see, one of the important things to do is to add these quotes, right? So for Sharon Nyamwea, there's a quotation inside it. For F, there's a quotation. So all of them must contain the quotations. So if you don't add a quotation, then you'll run into an issue with SQL. Anybody with a question there? Let me see anybody having a question in inserting. Yes? Alvas? Alvas, are you okay? Alvas Kiprich.
Yes, I'm trying it.
Are you
I'm
trying or
trying to
you
follow
are?
it. Yesterday I was not in class because I had a patient. So, but today I will try to follow from yesterday. So I think I'm not in the same pace with you, but I'm catching up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think now try to insert multiple entries. Yeah. So that is maybe information number one. So sometimes maybe you want to delete them. Should we first talk about deleting or first look at inserting multiple information? Okay. So values at this end, we have we maybe inserted this one. Let's see if we can. If we had not done that, you can just maybe put a comma in this place. Yeah, put a comma here and add more information. So maybe we want, I can even copy all these things so that we don't take time. I want to copy them but change nini, change our unique our primary key. Yeah. So here I can change. This one was 45, 6, 7, 8, whatever. Maybe change it to 5. And maybe have this as 3. And then instead of Sharon Nyamwea, I have Wema Nicole. And maybe change this one so that it becomes Wema 2023 engineering. Change this to maybe 8, 9, so that we have that information there, comma, paste it again and close this bracket. So I'm telling you how to insert multiple information. You could insert this thing by just typing them, but it's going to take us time, right? I hope you understand that. I'm just changing a couple of things. Maybe this one amezaliwa 201. This one becomes maybe 11. And this one now becomes, there is somebody in the class by the name Alan Muhwana. So maybe Alan M at 20 at Gmail. Alan is doing Alan don't okay. Alan maybe is doing what? There are some people doing waste management with IT. Yeah. But Alan, you're not doing that. So don't box me. Waste management. Alan is there. Born maybe a month later. So this one we have Alan Soita. Alan Soita. 467, I believe. Yeah, so these are just 3 information that we've inserted here. All right. Because I want us to also check on something. If we run it, I believe it's, I don't know whether it's, let's even change this to Sharon so that we don't run into a problem. But we are going to run into a problem because we are supposed to use a different kind of command, which is called update. Let us just see what is going to happen. Instead of Sharon Nyamwea, we have Sharon Apondi. And see. Dentist. Apondi Situnya 2023. Yeah. Let me just run it and see. Yeah. You see, duplicate entry. Okay. Yeah, we are having a duplicate entry 45 for key students. So you can never have a duplicate entry. You are supposed to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 2, 1. I believe there's also going to be another problem. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, so insert into. Now if you go back to our table, let us remove this. Go back and view it afresh. Now you can see, yeah, we have information. Right. We just maintained them to be female, all of them. Okay. Yeah, birth date. You can see maybe the birth date that we have. Let me see the command that we wrote for birth date. So we gave it a date time. So date time ni mbaya. Yeah, you can give it just a date. To be a date, but now we have created it. Those are things that we can do with altering or updating. So you can see this, if you write it date time, ndo inakuja including time hapa, right? But if we just write it without that date time, we write date, time haitakuwa, this 00 whatever will not be there. So you can update that way and then you have information. So suppose maybe you have 100 entries, utazifanya hivi, provided This first one is aligning to the first variable that we have, which is ID. This one is aligning to the name. This other one is aligning to the gender. If you switch them so that maybe Wema comes here or Alan M comes here kwa female, you are going to run into problems. Na hapo ndo utaanza kuchukia vitu. And again, even if it comes to maybe something like SQL, because this is now programming, writing codes, you find that saa zingine umesahau this comma hapa katikati, and then things are not running. You are running the commands and you are getting into these errors. You can't really figure out where the error is. Unaanza kuboeka kwa sababu that maybe writing these things is difficult. But it's because you are not a little bit keen. So there are things that you have to consider. Hizi commas zenye ziko hapa, and also these brackets. Brackets pia, if you leave them out, then you are in for trouble. Yeah. But again, for how to insert information into a table, you use insert into. What is the table name? Is a students, and then there's a bracket. Let me pull this down and pull this up. So insert into students, and then here the first bracket that you are having, it is supposed to contain the variable names, the column names. After that, come to values. Values are information that you are supposed to pump into the columns. So you will have the first one, then we have the second column. I can even decide to put this down so that muone to what is happening. Sorry. You come to this. Yeah. So you can see. So this is, so you can write them value CV so that it is easy for you to read. So insert into, then just write the student's name, press tab, enter, so that you write the columns in a new row. Go to the value, write values, and then press enter kidogo so that you have everything here. It's easy for you to even read through and see where the mistake is. For example, ukiona hapa, all these things are aligning mara one, and then there's a comma after them. These ones are aligning again, then there's a comma after all of them. Then we have the F's, then there's a comma after them one more time. Yeah. It will be easy for you to do debugging if at all there's any mistake that you've made. That's that. Are we together? Thumbs up if you are together. Yes, Raban, Wema, Sharon, Vince, Casey. Yeah, Fahi. Who is Fahi? Your hand is up. I'm seeing Alan. Alan, your hand is up. Are you giving us a thumbs up or a... Okay.
Okay, I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Is there space between ID and name?
Yeah, this one. Here.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't have to be a space. You can just leave them this way. You can remove them this way. But for you to see something like ikiwa presentable, so unaweka tu space. Si ndio?
Oh yeah, sawa.
This is just to make something more presentable. Somebody is asking a question, I believe. Let me see. On Alta, mine can't add the phone number. Kanyoi, why is yours not adding the phone number? Were you able to figure it out?
There are no errors, but sijui nilifreshia wapi juu inakataa at some point hapo kwa alta inakataa inaleta x errors 1064
Inaleta error.
Ah.
Hapa kwa Alta.
Iko tu hivyo but nikirun hapo it can't.
Maybe you can just screenshot na tuione. Maybe umemiss maybe vitu kama commas, I don't know. Or the correct syntax. You are also saying we intend to inbox you. Okay. Vintain, you can inbox Peter. Mtuite harusi bwana. Okay, let me see. So we are supposed to maybe update. So think of it that you have written all the information that you wanted, and so for example right now unaona venye tuko na female. Unaona hapa wote ni female, right? So you can do an update. I believe there's a command that is called update. Let me see if I can think of it. But there's another command called update. You may want to update a record, a certain record. Or you want to modify a certain record that is inside your table that you had created. So if you don't want that that error to appear there, you just comment it. So we want to update. So you first write update, and then what is the table name that you want to update? Yeah, it should be this way. Students. It is students. So we want to update students. So we want to set it should be gender. We want to set gender to be equal to, I don't know whether we should write it. Okay, gender to be equaling to male. To be equaling to male. You can use double quotes ama single. To be equaling to M. And then where ID. So which condition? So maybe let's say where ID is equaling to maybe this one. Let me set maybe, oh no, Alan. Alan is a male here. Let's see if it is going to work. Where ID is equaling to, and then terminate the statement. Let's see. So initially, our table is looking like this. Alan is F. Now we want to see if there's any update that has happened. Yeah, you can see. You can see now Alan Soita is M. But initially it was an F. So updating, yeah, let's go back and just understand what we have done. For you to update a certain record in SQL, you just click update students. So this one is your table name. So let me just write here that this is your table name. Table name. So we want to set. So set is now what you want to do. So maybe you can have multiple conditions. So you can set gender to be equaling to that. We can also say set set gender, of course, gender to make a M. We can also change maybe the birth date. Set birth date to be equaling to we want Alan to be born in 1998 04 04. No, 01. Was born on Fool's Day, April Fool's Day, right? And then now you have it that way. Or maybe because Alan is maybe a Shujaa, you can say he was born in mwezi wa sita. No, that is Madaraka Day. Yeah, you can think of the Shujaa Day. So maybe because he's a Madaraka, he has some Mamlaka somewhere. He was born on this time. So where the ID is equaling to this. So you can think of this as, yeah, because you can use any of the columns, but it is easier for you to use the primary key because it is like the unique identifier. So if you choose it, there is nothing that is going to be the same. Sometimes you can have people having similar email accounts, right? You can have people having similar emails, or maybe if you say like where course is equaling to waste management, na kuna watu watatu wanafanya waste management with IT, right? It is going to be problematic. It is going to change so many things. So it's preferable that you have this condition that you want, or maybe the set condition that you're using. Pick the primary key so that it becomes where ID is equaling to 466777364, because it is never going to be the same. So we are setting it that way. So if you have another condition, something that you want to change for Alan, because this one now you are going to per case. Per case, I mean per every entry, right? So if I have for Alan Soita, I change them. If I have for Sharon Apondi, I change them. If I have for Emma Nicole, I change. You understand? So I've changed birth date. I can also change Alan's course. Maybe Alan later came and told us that I'm not doing waste management, but I'm doing animal husbandry. Right? There's maybe that other course that I'm doing, animal husbandry. So you change it that way. All right. Maybe my phone number is not this. Go back and change those things. You understand? So that's how to update something in SQL, in MySQL. Control Enter, warnings, whatever. So we go back to our table and see. Now you can see Alan Soita, male, 1998, is doing animal husbandry, right? Alan is doing now animal husbandry. Yeah. Yeah, so that is how you can update now you can update. I want us to look at the last thing, which should be delete. Yeah, you may want to delete a row, or maybe delete a record. Even before that, are we okay with what we've done there? Alan Soita, Wema, Sharon, Tabu, Alvin, Casey, are you okay? Casey,
I'm very okay. I'm very okay.
very okay. Okay. Raban, that is okay. I'm seeing John and Aqua is also okay. Yeah. So there is also something called delete. That is delete statement. So here, sometimes maybe I want to delete. This is Sharon Nyamoya, or I want to delete Sharon Apondi. Yeah. Or even Wema Nicole. Somebody is distracting me here with a phone call. Okay. Yeah. So delete. You can just write the code similar to maybe how we've done update. It's more or less similar. So you can just say delete from, and then you write the table name where we have the students, and then you write now the condition where. So now here is where you write the condition now, right? Maybe where ID is equaling to I want to delete information about Sharon Nyamoya. Okay, let me delete Sharon Apondi so that Sharon Nyamoya does not crucify us for deleting her. So Sharon Apondi is here. Control copy, where ID is equaling to this one. Let's see if it is working, and then do this and Control Enter. So let's go back to students and see. You can see now Sharon Apondi is not there. Yeah, because we have deleted that person. Yeah, so you did it from students, of course, the table name that you are supposed to be deleting from. Yeah. Any other thing that we can talk about before we drop? We've talked about update, we've talked about insert. The other ones now maybe just to introduce the select statement. Yeah, there's now that statement, the select statement, where now you want to select some information that you want to see. Before that, have you done the delete? We look at the last thing and then we drop off. Are we together? We look at the last thing, that is select statement. So select statement, now maybe you want to see information from a certain table, right? So I don't want to see maybe all these things, phone number, course, email, what. I just maybe want to see name and the phone number, right? So you can just write select. So what do you want to select? I want to select the column I want to select the column ID. Yeah. Or I want to select the column yeah, so ID. So there are those who prefer to write select okay, let me just write it this way. So select ID and select name. I want to see the name and I also want to see the phone number. Phone number. So select ID, phone number, and then from. Where do I want to get this information? I want to get this information from the students table, right? And then you can now see what you can see the information here. Uko salama? Are we okay with that? Instead of so you can see that the table has been generated there. So ukitaka you don't want to see it, unakuja tu hapa and then you click this one and it's gone. Sometimes you may want to see everything. So you just write select star from students. Then you can see that tuko na everything, right? Maybe I want to select I just want to see the email ya hawa watu. Select email and then just say from students, and then you can see Evo. Yeah, that is selecting. So maybe that is creating just one table. There is now linking two tables that you maybe see in the next lesson, how to link two tables. So in this case, we've just created just one table under data mines. So you can create, maybe now this is the students information. Maybe you can create another table that is talking about maybe performance, and then you list various courses here and there. Yeah, I mean, there are different tables that can contain different information, but they are linked together. So I can have a primary key, and then I can have a foreign key. A foreign key now linking two different tables. There are two different tables linked. Let me just mention these things. There are things like we've mentioned primary key. We've drifted a little bit because of the initial challenges that you had with the class, but it's just we are 7 minutes past the drift before you drop out and you leave for us this link for something else. There's primary key and there's foreign key. There's another one called composite key. Yeah, and there should be another key. I believe we are missing it, but this one uniquely identifies a table, a single table, right? So for example, our ID, it is identifying that table. But then there's this other one which is foreign key, which what does foreign key? So maybe links, I believe should be linking two different tables. Yeah. It's another key inside another table linked to a different table altogether, because we are talking about SQL as relational database. Relational means like creating relationships, like we have relationships. Yeah. Yeah. So foreign key is just linking two different tables. This one for composite, it's a mix between primary and foreign key. I don't know. I've just missed the name. It's been a while since I engaged with MySQL, but I think it should be it should be composite key. Yeah. So there are these different kinds of keys. There should be another one. Just manipulations of things like primary and foreign, that should be here. Yeah. So this one is just one table. There can be two tables, there can be 10 tables. For example, if you check this SIS, let me see if SIS has some tables. No, there's a certain database that is always here. Let me see if this school has any two tables, any different tables. No, it doesn't have. Okay. Maybe you don't have tables here. Yeah, but you'll be able to create that at the end of the program. You creating different tables. Yeah, so what we've covered, yeah, creating database, updating. How can you drop a table? How can you alter a table? How can you delete? How can you insert into? Introduction to again to even select statement. Yeah, and the foreign key. So you can go and discuss or maybe check more about what you've covered today before you jump in to more. Are we having any question? Do you have any question? Anybody who feels ako sawa? Yes, Martin Chosos. Martin has gone mom again.
Can you hear me?
Yes. You are joining with two devices. You can reduce the volume in one of them, preferably your phone. As he does that. Anybody with a question? Jonah Ndakwa. Jonah, do you have a question?
No, I'm following.
Okay. Yeah, somebody is saying tomorrow is holiday. No, tomorrow is a holiday for for lovers, but not for corporates. Yes, James Tooth.
This is still Martin, huh?
Yes.
I wanted you to help me check on this SQL that I have. Initially, when you asked me to share my screen, I lost network, so you could not proceed.
Maybe you check on it offline, eh?
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody else with a question? Alan, are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Sharon?
I'm good.
Wema?
Yeah, I'm good.
Nunja? Manunga? Okay. Yeah, so I believe if we're okay, I've not left anybody out. Today we've not heard from Aiga. Aiga, are you okay? Okay. Anybody that we've not heard from, we'll hear from you tomorrow. Job Uma. Job, are you good?